So obviously AI has taken over the entire world, and you see the stock market reacting to it. We've seen companies literally go up over 130% in a single month. Yes, you heard me right, 130%. So you don't want to miss the boat on this. So in this episode, Rel and I are going to cover the AI movement, what it actually means. You're going to count how many times we mention that word, and if you guess correctly and you count the right number of times, we will maybe give you a prize. All right, but make sure you watch the whole video right now. We're gonna get into companies, we're gonna get into charts. So Rel, go ahead, take over the screen and let's talk about it, bro. It's gonna be a very honest and open conversation of what we think is going on.
Definitely. I want to get real honest. Let's tell the people what kind of plays we're in. And actually, it's funny we're talking about AI. Look at this ticker called AI. This ticker is up, like you said, over 130% over the past month. This is ridiculous. This ticker is on a absolute tear right now. And as you guys may remember, let's remember for charts, guys, if you see the line moving down, that means price is going down. If you see the line moving up, that means price is moving up. And when it comes to AI, this is the weekly chart, which means that every single candle here represents 1 week. They have been ripping, and they may have even more upside. We'll actually see, because they have earnings tomorrow morning from the recording of this. Well, it's tomorrow afternoon, actually. So Wednesday afternoon, by the time you guys watch this, you'll know how they did on earnings.
Facts. That's actually a fact.
Right? You guys will see they either maybe gapped all the way up, or maybe their stock shot all the way back down. But one thing we know is AI is really the big focus on the market. And that's actually kind of my theory here, like to speak on that really quick. So it's like, Newski, we see all these big tech tickers running up. And as you notice, the tickers that have run up the most are tickers that have AI influence. You see Nvidia, hey, like that's self-explanatory. Nvidia, you see AMD, Microsoft, tickers like even Apple, as we know they're going to have an AI component. Just big tech in general, they're the ones running up the most. And my theory is, I think that despite all the economics going on, I think that everyone's funneling money into these companies because they're really betting big on the production of AI. And so, you know, bro, we talk about the debt ceiling and how we take out too much debt as a country. Our debt to GDP ratio is ridiculous right now. So much debt. How do you offset debt? So people always talk about cutting your expenses. Just like if you are having trouble paying your credit card bill, like cut your expenses. How about you make more money? And what I think is going on is that big money, the big institutions, they're betting on big tech producing more for the country based on AI. You can literally cut workers and rev up production and rev up your revenue now. Your profit margins are better. So even with all the economic things that we have going on, if we're making more money as a country, we may be able to survive the debt that we take on. That's my theory.
Yeah, and I think what this is similar to right now is kind of like the meme stock era, if you remember that. It sounds like it's very similar because, anything that people wanted to run up was running up in the meme stock era. And I don't want to call it only stocks because there's also crypto as well. But even if you just think about the blockchain and crypto era, right? Like people were literally changing their names of the companies just to make sure they had crypto or something of that sort. So it's funny because C3 AI, it was actually not called C3 AI. It actually had a complete different name. So that's kind of funny how they actually decided to switch this name back in 2019, I believe it was. It was actually called C3 IoT, which is Internet of Things. All that to say, the reason why this is happening is because AI is a big movement. And I actually like this company simply because of the fact that they have so many different products, right? So CRM, which is like the customer relationship management tool, this company, the C3 AI, has their own AI tool that works with the CRM software, which is kind of crazy to think about. They also have data that they can do with the AI they have, right? So it's all machine learning. But the crazy part is, you mentioned companies like Amazon, like Google, like Apple, right? You mentioned all that. Well, think about it, bro. This company right now is partnered with Google Cloud Services, is partnered with Amazon Web Services, and with Azure, which is Microsoft. And also they have partnership and support from Accenture. So it's a very big company in that sense, and it has a lot of potential to grow. And I definitely basically retweet on what you're saying in terms of the movement is heavy on AI. So you guys don't want to miss this movement. I'm not saying it's very like, going to last only for a couple of days, but it's a trend that if it goes in the right direction, which it seems like it's going, there's a lot of money to be made.
For a fact. And it's funny you mentioned trends, right? So let's think about like even crypto being the trend and everything. I've heard the take that AI is what crypto tried to be. Like crypto.
Yes.
Right? I've heard that, man. And I can't lie. I think AI definitely has potential to be that revolutionary technology that, like, we've seen revolutionary technologies come out, like the internet, social medias, and like even mobile, right? The phones itself. And AI may be that very new thing that just completely changes the whole world. I think there's a lot of upside potential on this ticker, but ultimately it's speculative. They run up so much that who knows, right? You don't want to necessarily chase hype. Now, something else to look into is actually Crowdstrike and cybersecurity in general. Now, we talked about cybersecurity at length, actually. And if you guys missed our 3-part series, we did this very deep in the bear market. We told you guys about some companies and some industries we were looking at. Cybersecurity was one of them. Nvidia, we had a whole segment on Nvidia itself in the video. I wish you guys invested, because you've seen what Nvidia did. It's the best performing stock in the market right now, of the major stocks. And so, but CrowdStrike right now, I think, has a lot of upside. I think that it can potentially continue to push higher, even seeing $200. That's kind of why I see CrowdStrike going. Ultimately, you never know, but this is just my projection based on the charts.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you guys also like what CrowdStrike is, right? Obviously, we mentioned cybersecurity, but why is it actually important in terms of cybersecurity? Because the next big thing that everyone talks about, obviously AI related, yes, but AI is essentially data combined with the ability to learn human behavior, comes together, and now it's doing everything we need to do that a human could do, but they're gonna make a computer and a machine basically do it, right? So all that to say, data is very important, which means how do you protect that data? Security, aka cyber security. That's where everything ties together. And cyber, like CrowdStrike itself, I was doing a lot of research on this. So when you guys look at it, and I'm just gonna take over the screen really quickly, bro.
Yeah.
So when you guys actually take a look at everything, there's something that you guys should check out, which is ETF. So we talk about this all the time. So when you look at, like, should I invest in a company or not? One of the best things we told you guys to do, and I don't know what it is, bro. I feel like sometimes people think we're lying, or like we don't follow our own advice, which I don't know if that makes sense to people. But bro, the simplest thing to do, go to ETFs that are already made for you, that these hedge funds and these institutions are making and literally managing, and just look at their top 10 holdings. CrowdStrike is number 2 in this particular ETF. Okay, this ETF right here, bug. Okay, let's go to another one. Like, you look at this ETF, the top 10 holdings right here. Let's scroll down. You see CrowdStrike over here, right? And there's going to be a common theme. You're going to start seeing similarities on what companies are involved in which ETFs and what holdings they actually have of that particular ETF. Then one of my favorite shares is obviously BlackRock iShares. And you look at their holdings, you're going to see the same theme over and over again. CrowdStrike, again, top 3 holding. So when you look at that, it's like, okay, these institutions are involved. And I'm not like, this is not advice like, oh, go jump into these companies. We're just giving you advice in terms of think differently, not invest, just think differently about certain things. Well, if we know AI is going to be important, we know cybersecurity is going to be important, and we know these companies are top 10 in certain ETFs, and we know they have cash on hand, it makes sense to invest in them, no? Like, we personally are going to most likely invest in these companies and swing them for the long term. It's as simple as that.
No, I completely agree, bro. And for people that's looking into CrowdStrike, it's not just them. There's some other common names we saw there. Palo Alto, I like them a lot. Zscaler is solid. Those are a couple good ones. And
Okta, OKTA, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's another top 10 holding in all the other cybersecurity ETFs.
Yes, so definitely look into those. And like Newski said, like cybersecurity, if we're talking about AI these companies will absolutely need cybersecurity to maintain that data that they're collecting. So definitely looking at that. And just to talk about chips real quick, everybody's been giving Nvidia a lot of attention. I actually didn't plan on showing this. Hopefully it comes up. Yo, it's funny. Nobody was talking about Broadcom, by the way.
Bro, it's and this is the thing that's annoying. You know how I'm talking about ETFs? Just letting y'all know, QQQ, which is obviously the Nasdaq, right? It's a top 10 holding. Broadcom is, I believe, about 2% of the QQQ, which you might think is not a lot, but if it's an ETF and you hold 2%, it's a top 10 holding, which means it has its damn respect.
Yep. Look at this thing, man, at super all-time highs. Like, this is not even close. Like, this is the highest that this company has ever been. And everybody's talking about Nvidia and the run that Nvidia's had. I mean, they look like similar charts, but this is Nvidia's chart here. But Broadcom has the same type of run, another respected chip company, but something that's been lagging behind is actually Intel, and that has to do with the fact that everybody was it's the technology that Intel kind of got popular off of. Once Nvidia came out with with the GPUs and everything, at that point they kind of took over. But I think Intel is still set for a breakout. I think they have, Newski, you actually want to speak on them working with Square?
Yeah, so you read my mind on that. So actually, it's funny, Square ended up actually purchasing Intel's chip when it comes through blockchain, right? So they have this particular chip that they're working on that is purely related to blockchain and crypto, and Block, which is Square, right? They actually ended up purchasing that side of Intel. So it's not like Intel has bad technology, right? That's not a thing. It's just, to be fair with you, your perception of Intel might be that they're an old company, which they are, and they're from like the dinosaur ages. At the end of the day, if they're AI related, it's gonna most likely go up, and we know it's AI related.
Yeah, for a fact. Oh, a quick side point, by the way, CrowdStrike has earnings in the morning, so we'll see how that ends up. So
Wednesday morning, yep.
Yeah, so hopefully they don't gap down by the time y'all see this. Hopefully they went up, but
right, facts.
Yeah, just to say, but also just to give you guys a little update, we mentioned regional banks to you guys and how we feel like that industry is not completely dead. And if you believe in the American economy and how much of an integral piece they are, then to me, I think that, hey, why would you not take a chance on a regional bank ETF after it's been sold off so much and it looks like it's found a bottom? So Newski and I transparently did swing some shares. We're looking for upside. We would cut the swing trade if we lose these lows, but we're basing this off feeling like it's found a bottom so far, and we're trying to see it push to the upside. And I think that there could be some great potential here. So our risk to reward is solid. But this is just an example of investing when nobody wants you, right? Investing when everyone's scared. I want to make a point on what you just said, right? Like, I think if you guys have been following the show so far, this is one of the few episodes where we're being very honest and transparent about what we bought, what we think is going to happen, and what we actually think we're going to buy. But just to say, like, if you guys are noticing a theme, we're not chasing anything here. Like, none of the runs that you're seeing on the AI companies are what we're chasing, right? We're waiting for actual clear signs, and we're waiting for something that's undervalued in our eyes, which is why Rel was talking about the whole regional bank. Nvidia, we didn't, like, if you guys think we chased and we caught at like a certain price, that's completely false. Like, I don't want to like toot our own horn here. We actually bought it at a point where it was low. Right, the same thing for QQQ that we're going to dive into later. Like, all the stuff that we tell you is what we do. Like, I personally invest every single month into QQQ because it's a tech-based ETF, and I believe tech's the future. Yeah, clearly tech is looking like the future too. It's funny, bro. Like, we literally we made the episode. We were transparent to you guys. We said like, yo, get into Nvidia. This was around this time period. Nvidia was around $140. That thing is today it hit $419. So do the math on that. And then you mentioned NQ, right? Or excuse me, you mentioned the Nasdaq.
QQQ. Yeah.
The Nasdaq, QQQ is all the same chart. You guys can see the direction it is on. It's on a huge tear. You can look at like even TQQQ, which is the triple leverage version of it, which means if QQQ, which is the Nasdaq, if it goes up 3%, TQQQ goes up 9%. And you guys see over the past 6 months, this thing is up 50%. We talked about this on the show as well. And I still think that there's upside. Like if QQQ is going to make this push, then TQQQ will make the push. Newski already transparently told you guys he's invested in the QQQ for these reasons, believing in tech. You see what they're on year to date. They're up 110% year to date. Like, come on, y'all. What more can you say?
That's a fact. And can I share my screen one more time? Yeah. I want to show them one thing right here. You know how you're speaking of QQ? I think it's a perfect transition. So we're talking about AI, right? And we showed you guys this website earlier where you can kind of go to it and essentially just look up. So artificial intelligence AI ETF list. So it kind of shows you a bunch of ETFs that are related to a particular industry or sector. And when you kind of just go through it, you read through what makes sense and what not. So I actually clicked on a couple of these. I mean, y'all know how I like Fidelity, right? Obviously. So when you look at it, Apple 22%, Microsoft 19%, Nvidia 6%. So once again, very, very heavy. Broadcom, we just talked about that with Rel. I'm pretty heavy on Accenture, right? These are companies that make sense. You go to iShare, same thing. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia. So that's AMD. Another way. I'm sorry, say that again?
AMD is in there, Meta's in there.
AMD is right here. So it's like you see companies, and if you purely, like this is robotics and AI ETFs, if you just want a pure ETF, you just exposure to AI, y'all can check this one out too. But the thing is do your research in terms of what's performing or not. But just think about it. Nvidia's up there too. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, guys, what you have to do is pure research on what sector you guys think is undervalued, where the future is headed. Go check out those ETFs, see if the top 10 companies in those ETFs make sense, then look up if they're undervalued or overvalued by looking at the PE ratio, then understand if they have cash on hand. We follow the same things every single time, and Ron and I have conversations about this every single day. And that's simple as that. Like, you have to find companies that are undervalued and headed towards a future to be successful in the stock market game. Yeah. And that's why AI is very clearly the future in this sense.
Yeah, for a fact, man. And like, you know, you could do that with even companies that's popular. Like, don't think you always have to find the smallest company. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at like Tesla. We were talking about Tesla being undervalued. You know what I mean? Like Tesla came down to a level that everybody was scared of it at. But since then, it's been up like over $100 since its bottom, about $100. So Tesla, I still think has a lot of room to the upside. Sure. Yeah, bro. For my community, for those that don't know, I have a Discord community, and definitely join it if you want. You can check my Instagram at BagTalkTerrell, which is TYRELL, and it's in my bio. You can join it because we talked about Tesla in there just today, and they had a monster day today. Tesla was booming, and I think Tesla's so much more upside. That was on the watch list that we produced as a community. So was AI, and AI was up 35% today, and so was ChargePoint, and ChargePoint was up 15% today. So we're calling out these tickers because the technicals show you everything, but when you combine technicals with fundamentals, that's the golden investor right there, and that's what we try to do here on Bag Talk.
Literally, you got one technical dude, you got the fundamental dude. We just come together. It makes perfect sense. PBJ, baby. But no, also click the link in the description. The link for his Discord will be in the description below for y'all to check out as well. So make sure y'all get that. But to end it on a good note for you guys, right? I think Rel made a very, very good point here. Y'all don't have to hit a home run every single time. Like, we're not saying we're the first people to find Nvidia. It's been there for over 10 years. It's not a new company whatsoever. It just made sense because it was undervalued. Tesla, like, you guys hated yourself when it fell to like a all-time low and didn't dump all your cash in. But then when it went up $30, you guys didn't buy it because you're like, oh, it's gonna come back down. Don't do that. You guys cannot time the market every time. So it's okay to buy along the way. And if you don't want to do individuals, do ETFs. But that summarizes this episode. We want to be very clear with the AI movement, what we think is going to happen, and the companies we're looking at. We want to know your thoughts. We want to know how many times you guys counted us saying the word AI in the comment section as well. But if you're still watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
and you don't want to miss them. Appreciate you. Check us out on Monday. Until then, peace.
Peace.
Soundstripe.